Welcome back to a place of challenge, a cold place where hard questions are asked and excellence is demanded. This is not a show for the faint of heart or weak of mind. The objective is to challenge your reality and promote personal excellence. Welcome back to the Warrior Enigma. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Warrior Enigma. I am your host, Jeff Ottele. Today's episode is a sprint episode. We do have two different styles, sprints and marathons. Marathons are going to be your full-length interview process style, where we have a guest come on, whether it be through Zoom or in person, and I just talk to that person about their success story and what it took internal, their mental health, and how it got them to where they are. The sprint episodes are a little bit different. It's just me talking to you one-on-one in the camera over a topic that I feel passionate about. And today's episode is a little bit interesting because I'm focusing on loving yourself. And it sounds really stupid. If you look at the headline, you're probably going to be like, oh boy. But the idea behind it originated because today's Wednesday. I'm going to get this out there as fast as I can because Friday, the 14th, is Valentine's Day. That made me stop and think, because what is Valentine's Day? Where did Valentine's Day come from? Why do we celebrate it? And why is it about love? So I did a little bit of research, and the funny thing about it is no one really knows the exact origins of Valentine's Day. So there's a lot of research and history that goes back to a Catholic person, Saint Valentine or Valentine. And eventually there's a couple people throughout history there's named Valentine or Valentine, and a couple of them got their heads cut off by the Romans. Claudius II decided that was a good idea. There were some other people who were prominent figures who died on February 14th. They're prominent figures of love. There was a story about a prisoner who named Valentine, who fell in love with his imprisoner's daughter and wrote her a love letter before he got his head cut off. And at the end, it was signed, Love Your Valentine. Hence where we get some of these customs and traditions that we have today. There's other theories about how the Catholic Church brought it up to push out pagan holidays. And to be honest with you, all of these make sense, but none of them are concrete, and none of them are like, yep, this is where it comes from. This is why we do it. Then you look at some of the symbols like Cupid. Cupid is a spinoff of the god Eros, Greek mythology, then Roman mythology. And it's a cherub that shoots an arrow and basically infects you with love. So there's lots of weird little things like that. Obviously, none of them are complete concrete. None of them are complete proof of anything. But in modern day, we celebrate Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day as a child is mainly about, giving out little love notes and candy and maybe flowers and, some acts of love towards individuals. As an adult, it becomes an excuse to buy somebody chocolate or flowers. I personally am not a fan of Valentine's Day, specifically for the reason that if it takes you one day a year to do something nice, say for your wife or your girlfriend or your mom, or, that's from a dude's perspective. For me, if it's just one time a year that I'm doing this, it doesn't really mean anything. And in fact, to me, I would put that's kind of like insulting that on the one day a year. And I get arguments left, right, and sideways. I don't really celebrate people's birthdays either, because one day a year you're supposed to celebrate that one day, and it just seems kind of fake to me. So Valentine's Day falls into that same category where if you're only celebrating it once a year, I feel like my duty as a husband or as a brother or a son, I should be celebrating it routinely, and maybe I don't do a good job of that, but it's insulting to only do it one day a year. But hey, tradition is tradition. People like this kind of stuff. And honestly, I feel like all of those traditions and the history, whether it's right or wrong or where it came from, whatever solidification that looks like, I feel like it became more of a marketing scheme, and people are making money off it. Maybe it makes you feel good. Maybe that's worth it, but it's marketing and a commerce thing. So enjoy the day. That's not the whole point. I didn't mean to just rant about Valentine's Day, but I wanted to get into it because it is kind of the American, maybe international, but definitely the American Day of Love. But the problem I'm seeing with it is everyone is looking to other people. Like I said before, whether it's your mom, your girlfriend, your wife, husband, whatever that looks like, right? And you're expressing a form of love. But the thing here at Warrior Enigma that I focus on the most is your internal warrior, right? And I want people to look inside of themselves and find value and find the drive, be motivated to improve themselves. So I want to take a different look at Valentine's Day today from a Warrior Enigma standpoint, and that is loving yourself. So what does that look like and why does that matter? You can love yourself in 1,000 different ways. There's literally infinite ways to show expressions of love towards yourself. I've talked about it in your ways you vote, financially, whether health conscious decisions, mental, physical health, activities, things you do to improve your chemical hormones in your body, the endorphins. But it comes down to, you got to love yourself. Just like people talk about in emergency situations, you have to be able to help yourself before you can help others. That's why on an airplane, you're supposed to put the O2 mask on yourself before you help anybody else. That theory, although simple, holds true in many aspects of life. So loving yourself is very important. It just sounds weird because we don't usually express it in that way. But if you eat shitty, you're not loving yourself. You're actively killing yourself. If you don't work out, you're not showing love for yourself. If you don't do things for yourself in a way that increases your positivity, your health, your functioning throughout the day, all of these things, if you're not doing anything for yourself and you're constantly trying to pour it out to others, or maybe you're not even trying to do that, maybe you're just not even showing emotion, period, it's a completely unhealthy methodology. So loving yourself starts with doing things for yourself that make you feel good. Good, not in the sense of go eat a box of chocolates on Valentine's Day because it releases endorphins and makes you feel good, because you're just, small victory up front with the endorphin rush, long-term defeat. It just doesn't make sense. So what I am doing and what my wife suggested that we do, so we're doing it together, and what I would like to encourage everybody to do is look into a mental health and wellness program called 75 Hard. And if you haven't heard of it, I'm a huge fan of it. It's so easy that it's incredibly difficult. It just takes complete and utter devotion to the small things, and it absolutely makes a huge difference in your life. My wife's done it a few times. I've attempted it a few times. I'm not going to say I've completed it. Most of the times I've failed, it's because I've failed at something very small. But that's what it takes. It's attention to detail. And if you can master the details of the small stuff, you're going to be able to improve the big stuff because you're setting a foundation, and it'll just cascade from there. But so 75 Hard is a program where for 75 days, you do these things. You take a progress picture, you read 10 pages of motivational or entrepreneurial or something positive, right? Get your 2 workouts in a day of 45 minutes each or greater. One of those has to be outside. You consume a gallon of water a day. You have no alcohol and no cheat meals. And that's it. So for a lot of you, if you don't drink and you don't eat shitty, it's pretty simple. Up your water intake, take a picture when you first wake up, read 10 pages. And for those of you who do all these things and then read, your 2 workouts a day seem to be the hardest part for a lot of people. I'm not gonna say hardest part is in like the most messed up. Every time I failed is because I forget to take a picture. I don't like taking pictures of myself. I feel weird. So a shirtless photo is weird for me. It's just not something I've ever done. So that is usually where I forget to do that. What has helped me in the past is if I wake up, the first thing I do, I don't know what you guys do when you wake up. The first thing I do every morning when I wake up, I got to take a piss. So it's real easy to just grab my phone, go to the bathroom, take a picture. Now, the hardest part or the most messed up part for me is now over. Now, getting to the gym working out twice a day is where a lot of other people falter. So especially the outdoor one. I'm starting February 14th on Valentine's Day. It's cold outside. So a lot of people get deterred by doing something outside, but there's not really any major guidelines on this program where it says you have to go running or you have to do all these extreme sports. Like you can layer up, go throw a heavy backpack like a ruck on and go walk for 45 minutes. That's an outdoor workout. Just do something that gets your heart rate moving outside. So that is the challenge that my wife and I are undertaking, the 75 Hard Challenge. If you want to look it up, it was designed by Andy Frisella. He's the former CEO of First Form Supplements. He's an entrepreneur. He has a podcast called Real AF. He does a lot of things. He's got his hands in a lot of games. But he designed this program because he's a huge advocate of mental health and transformation, and he wants everyone to succeed. So free program. It's literally the rules or anywhere you find it online. There's some weird spin-offs that people have. I've heard of 75 Soft, where they do most of the stuff, or they'll do one workout, not two, or they won't cut out alcohol, but they'll cut out cheat meals and they kind of alter it. And if you're a fan of Andy's, you know that he calls these people a special kind of stupid. And it made me laugh because the first time I heard it, I was struggling with alcohol tendencies and I didn't want to drop the alcohol. And that was my biggest deterrent. I was like, I'll do everything, but like, I want to have a beer now and then or whatever excuse I was telling myself. And I think the next episode he was talking about it, and he calls those types of people who alter 75 hard. You missed the whole point. You're a special kind of stupid. So I kind of chuckle at that now. I believe he put it on episode 208. If you look at Spotify, he has a bunch on YouTube now, but it's an audio only. But episode 208, just go check it out if you're curious about the program, if you want to do the program. But that is the challenge that I'm setting forward to you guys. It's a program that's preset by somebody else. I'm not reinventing any wheels here. I'm just advocating for this program because I feel it's very positive. It changes a lot of your outlook on time management, on what you're able to get done in a day. And it starts to force you in a way to put things down that are irrelevant, like TV. You don't need TV. Now, if you're driving and you're listening to a podcast, awesome. If you're just sitting on your couch listening to a podcast, probably not the best idea. So podcasts to me are like a dual hat. If I can go to the gym and pick up some information or listen to a motivational person or pick up a cool story, instead of just listening to music, I'll listen to a podcast. Driving, same thing. But don't just sit down and waste your time. Pick up a book. Go walk outside. Go do something productive. And this 75 Hard really forces you to do that because there's a lot of time that people waste throughout their day, and it really gets you to start looking at that and utilizing it appropriately. So 75 Hard, check it out, andyfrisella.com. He has the whole program up there. He is the originator. So if you find someone that's different than that design, it's a lie. I'll be doing it. I'm going to, on Friday, I'm actually going to take it a step further because I promote this kind of thing where it's not just about, oh, I do healthy things. Like, I want you to actually understand your body and know your body and work towards maintaining and growing that health. So I'm actually going on Friday to get my blood work done. Nothing crazy. I didn't order any of this mass kit. Like, I literally went on a budget, went to a website, and I'll put the information up on my next update because I'm going to go get it on Friday. I think I'll get the results probably Monday, so the next business day. And I'll have those as a baseline. Then I'm going to do it again at the end, the 75th or 76th day, and go get my labs done again just to check it out and see what happens. I'm also taking measurements, neck, waist, arms, legs, calves, body weight, looking through a whole bunch of these things to put down a really solid baseline of what can happen in 75 days with more or less minimal changes. Some of you, this might be big changes. If you're not used to going to the gym, you drink a bunch of soda, all these things, like, it's going to be very, very difficult. But if you live a semi-healthy lifestyle, it's really not that hard. The real difficulty lies in the detail and just getting it done. So I want to lay a fresh baseline, make sure I know where I'm at, and see what changes in my life and my fitness and my health. So I got the blood test going. I'm going to document all my measurements just to see what happens. My goal is actually to lose a little bit of weight. I can tell you right now, I'm sitting around 260, and I want to finish this thing around 255. I know that's not a lot, 75 days, 5 pounds, but I want to maintain muscle mass, if not grow muscle mass, but lose that 5 pounds of overall weight and pure unnecessary weight. So that is difficult. So hopefully I can drop some percentages in body fat, drop a couple pounds, but maintain my lean muscle mass. That's my goal in this whole thing. Some of you, if your goal is to lose weight, you probably lose a lot of weight just by upping your water intake. So I'm tracking my sleep. I am doing a diet plan, but it's nothing insane. It's just healthy food. I am trying to structure my days a little better because I have faltered in times, like having to rush to get my second workout in, things like that, lessons learned from previous times. So I'll kind of keep you guys posted if you guys are interested. But kind of wrapping it up full circle, this is all about me loving myself. I really want my health to be better. I have a standing agreement with my wife that I'm not allowed to die before her, so I have some work to do. I really need to make sure I up my bar and get rid of some of the bad habits of my youth. Otherwise, I'll fail on that promise, and that's not something I'm willing to do. So love yourself this Valentine's Day. If it's not with 75 hard, avoid the candy, avoid the bullshit, the stigma and all these unhealthy foods. If you want to express your love for someone, I mean, you can take them out to dinner. You maybe take them on a walk. Maybe just sit and talk to them. Do things that are normal, that are actually healthy versions of love versus a box of chocolates and some flowers that are going to die on the counter next week. That's my personal opinion. But I do hope that all of you have a happy Valentine's Day. I hope that, the loved ones in your life do feel the love that you give them. I just hope that it's not an excuse to do it once a year. So find a reason to express that love on a more often basis, if that's the right terminology. Do it more frequently, not just this once a year. But today, think about starting 75 hard Valentine's Day this Friday, February 14th. If you do it, it's the 29th of April, I believe is what I mathed out, is the 75th day. So end of April, you'll be done. And I know it sounds like a lot, 75 days when you look at it. It's really not. If you just set a rhythm and do the same thing every day, you really go about your life, but you're making healthy decisions on the side subliminally. And some days will be harder than others. Some days you'll breeze right through it. And then the next day, something will come up, especially you kids. That's a whole ball game I don't get into because I don't know anything about that. But kids' soccer practices and school and how all that shakes out, that's tough. But I promise you, if you give it a shot, even if you fail, you're going to learn something about yourself. Don't set yourself up for failure by thinking you will, but come into this hot and heavy, set a plan, really try to get it done, and just see what happens. And I think you'll come out with positive results, and you might actually learn some more about yourself that'll attribute into other areas of your life where it could use some work. So think about it. If you want, join along. I'm going to put up some more posts through Warrior Enigma as I go. If I do it today, because I'm starting 2 days early right now, I'm not starting the program 2 days early, but this video is going to go out today, 2 days early. If I do it every 11 days, that's 7 total posts, and it'll end on the 75th day. And my goal is just to kind of talk to you. Maybe if you're doing it along with me, you're struggling in areas I can help with. I would love the feedback. If you put it in the comment section, things that you're struggling with that I can address. I'm probably struggling with the same stuff, or maybe because this is my third time and I haven't completed it yet, maybe there's things I've learned along the way to be like, oh, hey, this is how I do it. And I've kind of mentioned a few, like taking the picture early and making sure that outdoor workout happens before late at night. Other than that, I wish you all the best. I love you all. But this Friday, for 75 days, I'm going to focus on loving myself. That's my challenge to you from Warrior Enigma. I'm Jeff Ottele. Love you guys.